Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Christine with Patter Crafts, and today I'm here to share with you the 16 cards I made using the Flavor of the Month card kit by Scrapping for Less. The theme for this month is all about ice cream. It is the Scrapping for Less Flavor of the Month card kit's first birthday. Some people might refer to it as an anniversary. I'm going with birthday because this kit is very birthday themed. So happy birthday. So with collection 1, the first card I made was inspired by this sketch here, sketch number 1. And I used the stamp set in that collection, and I stamped out all these little ice cream images and used the sentiment "treat yourself." And on the inside of the card, it's just a white panel, and I just again did some more of those ice cream container image along here. I did use some post-it notes, the kind that are completely sticky all over the back, as a way to mask these images. I'm really happy with how that does mask. If you're looking for an inexpensive way to mask your images, I found that worked really well. And that image is super easy to fussy cut, so it was really easy to do. The next card I made is this one here. This is inspired by sketch 4. And this is just all pattern paper. I cut this out of one of the pieces of pattern paper. That's all pattern paper. And on the inside, I did use the stickers that came with collection 1. I at first didn't want to use all 6, but I couldn't find a way to use 2 or 3 that looked, I don't know what the word is, but it just didn't look right. So I decided to use all 6 and have them kind of dancing along the bottom of this card. And I really am happy with how that turned out, so I'm glad we went that route. This card here is the third card. It is inspired by sketch number 3. And again, just mostly all pattern paper. I had one of the 6x6 sheets had these little, those little rectangle pieces that you could just kind of cut out and use. Well, that's what this was. I call them cut aparts. So I cut those all out, and then I used a circle die to try to get as much of the image that was in that little rectangle into the circle to create this card. And on the inside, that theme carries on to the bottom of this card. And the last card from this collection is this one here. I loved this paper, but because of all my cutting errors, I did not have enough to make it the full panel. So I did use what I had left. I used some of this red. I don't know if you can see that. It says happy birthday, happy birthday. It's definitely a tone on tone, so you might not be able to see that. And then I just put this yellow paper strip to cover where these two connect, especially since, yeah, I just did not cut that paper straight at all. If you watch the blooper video, you know that, you probably know already that with this collection, I couldn't seem to cut any of the paper properly. All right, going on to collection number 2. This one is very themed for the Flavor of the Month birthday. This is the first card I made using that collection. This is the stamp that came with that collection. I decided to make a shaker card. Originally, this was stamped or attached to the card base wrong, so I had to cut it out and attach it to a new card base, and I have just a white mat in there. So there was card 1, card 2. Again, used the stamp set again, some pattern paper. This is a scalloped stitched edge or stitched scalloped edge die. It's for My Favorite Things. Did make an error over here. This black mat underneath is not on properly, but hey, In crafting, we can't always be perfect, right? All right, let's go on to this card, which again was inspired by Sketch 3. Now, in this collection, we did receive these buttons. I had a hard time and actually wasn't even successful at snapping that back of that button off. If you've seen some other people who've used these buttons in their cards in either this kit or a past kit, they were able to snip the back off. I just didn't have anything in my craft room that was able to do that. I think next time I'll just hand them to my husband. I'm sure there's something in his toolbox that he can use to do that for me. But in order to get around that for today, or when I made this card, I cut all these little circles using the stitched circle scallop die, and then I used just a regular like hand paper punch, and I just punched a hole in the middle of each one of these. Then I used some multimedia matte to glue these down to the paper, wait for them to dry, and then I don't know if you can see down there, but I just used some foam tape. If I did this again, I would double up on the foam tape because the back of that button is just the slightest bit longer than my foam tape. So if I do this again, I would double up on the foam tape because they don't kind of sit flat on the card. I mean, they wouldn't sit flat anyway, but yeah, I don't know. Like, see here, it kind of pushed up on the paper, and it looks kind of, from this angle you can see it's sideways. It lifted up. So that's about the only thing I would change. I did try to pop these back up, but they weren't having it. All right, last one for this collection is another shaker card. I loved this paper here, so I did use it in 3 of these 4 cards. On the inside, I just put a white mat with a little piece of the scrap left over from this piece. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do anything over here or not. If I put it up in my Etsy shop, I'll probably just leave it as is. But if I decide to use it as a birthday gift for like a family member, I might add an image. But for today, I'm just leaving it as is because I'm not really sure what I want to do. Okay, collection number 3 was my absolute favorite. I loved everything about it. I loved the image that came with the collection. I loved the papers that came with the collection. Absolute favorite of all 4 of these. So, let's see. This is the first card I made. Inspired by sketch number 4. So just all these pattern papers work really well together. And then I used the matte dots. I don't know. I forgot the name of them. I don't have the oh, here it is. Hold on. What are they? They are the Gina Marie Paradise Matte Enamels. So I added 3 of those there and stamped, cut out, and colored the image. And then on the inside, I just stamped her in some gray ink. The next card, if you saw the bloopers, you saw me with this beautiful tag that I stamped the image or the sentiment upside down. So after fiddling with it for a little while, I decided to just use this light green cardstock from my stash to make some hills to cover that up. I tried putting her over it, but her lower body didn't cover the whole sentiment. And then in order to put like her waist down that low, it would come off the tag. And I thought about putting a banner, but this sentiment is, it wouldn't be a small banner. It was kind of thick. So I just decided to just cover it with some green hills. I love this card. I'm still happy with how it came out. And on the inside, just added a couple of scrap paper that I had from the other card and just made a couple little banners. And this is the next card, and this card, believe it or not, was inspired by Sketch 2. Although when I started making it, I realized I don't have a tag die, and I tried using some of the scrap pieces that were just like rectangle pieces or square pieces or circle pieces, and it just didn't, for me, I just couldn't get the look that I wanted. So I decided to, because I first cut out this bottom piece here with a little scalloped edge on the bottom, and then I decided I'm just going to make this a shaker element and put our little ice cream Marcy over here. And I'm really happy with how this came out. So, they don't move too well in here. I don't know if I put too many in. Or if maybe I need to use some extra foam. But the fact that they don't move too easy isn't terrible, because if somebody wants to, let's see if this will, like if you wanted to keep the card up like that on your shelf, they don't really fall. So maybe that's a happy accident. The inside of this card, I just used some pattern paper that was left over and just attach that to the bottom. And the last card for this collection is this one here, which started out as this one, but ended up like this. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I love all the cards that I made from this collection, but I think I really, really liked this collection. And again, just added some banners on the inside. So that's all for collection 3. Now collection 4 is another collection I actually I loved them all, but you know how some are just, you love way more than others. Well, this is another one I really loved. If I had to rate them, 3 is my favorite, 4 is my second favorite, then 1, then 2. Because, you know, we all have personal preferences, things we like. Doesn't mean we don't like what comes in the kits. It just means some grab our attention better than others. So, I guess I probably didn't need to really put that explanation in there, but I did. So again, this one comes from that sketch number 4. That was the inspiration for this one. I had some of the super light blue. I don't even think you can tell this is light blue cardstock. So I didn't want to use just plain white. But this is pretty close. Just stamped the image from the stamp set, colored it, added some sequins. Really happy with how this one turned out. And on the inside, just added the image again. This is card number 2, and this is also inspired from sketch number 3. Thought it'd be fun to make this a shaker element. Now, the original concept for this card, I did have a piece of ephemera that I was going to put here, but it's a really big piece of ephemera. And when I went to put it on, it covered a lot of the shaker and a lot of the scalloped detail, and I didn't want that to be covered. So I took it off. I used it in the next card, and I'm just keeping it like this for now. I may add maybe an image to the bottom. But for right now, I'm just leaving it as is. And on the inside, just added some pattern paper. So this is that large piece of ephemera I was telling you about, but it is pretty big, so I decided to make it its own and added a few sequins here. Propped this up on some foam tape, and on the inside, just added a decorative detail with some pattern paper. And the very last card I made from all of these is this one here. Stamped the image on some white cardstock, colored it out, and then I used a rectangle stitch die to cut it out, and then used this scallop stitched edge to cut that out. Cut this little white or black cardstock out to go underneath it, and then put it on some of this polka dot pattern paper. And on the inside, I just carried that pattern paper in to the inside along with that same edge detail here. So those are the 16 cards. Now what do I have left? I have everything from my banana split kit. And usually these I don't touch until I use my, until I do the mix-up video. Which, now that I'm a few kits ahead, I might get back into. I wanted to give myself a couple of months between them. So I still have to do one for January's kit, which I'll probably do this month. And then that way I'm now far enough between. So between the kits, the current kit, I'll probably do a mix-up video of the past kits. So this is all I have left for collection 1. I have some paper scraps, some of those little cut-aparts, the stamp set, and some more of those, what are they called? Silver glossy dots. Collection number 2, I still have a full piece of pattern paper. I have some really nice pieces of scrap paper, the ribbon. I did use all the sequins. I have I think I said it, but I have the stamp. Yeah, so that's it for collection 2. Collection 3, I don't have any full-size sheets of paper, but I do have some really nice size pattern paper scraps left. I have some of those pink and matte enamels. I have the stamp set, and I do have sequins left over. And collection number 4, I do have one piece of full size 6x6 pattern paper. I have some good size pieces of scrap paper in there. The stamp set, which is really big, so you can't really see all the scraps I have left over in there. The sequins are still in there, and I still have a few pieces of ephemera. I only used one out of all the ones I received, so I do have a few of those left. So that is it for today. The 16 cards I made using the Scrapping for Less card kit for March. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be in the process of making a mix-up video for January's card kit. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Open to any suggestions. So if there's anything you want me to, any kind of video you'd like to see me do, please let me know in the comments below. I am working at trying to get a tripod so I can get a view from above. So that way I could do some tutorial videos, maybe work on some lighting when I'm home during the day. Florida has some great sun, but usually I'm not home during the day because I'm at work. I'm at my day job. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, bye.